First of all, just give us a rundown of some of the placements you've gotten.
So some of the placements I've gotten, I've sang on the Going to Disneyland commercial for the Super Bowl in 2023. So that was really cool. Uh, that was fun. And also because I lived in Kansas City before I moved to LA. So Chiefs, let's go. And then I don't watch sports at all, but yeah,
Hey,
no,
you can have the pride. It's all good. The hometown pride. It's cool. Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy for
yeah,
them.
for sure.
But
You even got
that
the colors on right now. Is that an accident or?
it was that happy accident.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So,
Yeah. So and yeah, so that and Love is Blind, the newest season, Selling Sunset, um, Buying London, which is a newer show, some things on that. So yeah, a lot of Netflix shows, and yeah, that's a short list, but a
yeah,
list.
you had some like commercials too. Like, did I see something about like a Pizza Hut commercial maybe?
That's my first national commercial. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really
amazing.
excited about that.
Yeah, that's dope.
Thank
So all right, what were you about to say?
Go ahead.
Oh, so for those of us that are trying to like figure out how to navigate the sync space, maybe wanting to break into sync land, any tips, any wise words that you can give us of how to do that?
Yes. So I will start off by saying, the first project that I was presented for a sync project was March 2020. So right when lockdown, COVID, all this stuff was like everybody was finding out it's going down. Shit's going down right now.
Mhm.
That's when I got my first call to do a sync project, and I was really like out of sorts, like most people were during that time.
Right, right.
So I actually didn't. I was really scatterbrained about it, but they asked me, and I was like, I don't know if I should. I don't know, and I was like freaking out. And then they came back. A friend of mine had recommended me, uh, and they were like, "Hey, are you still interested in this project?" Because I had kind of left them. Like I said, so much was going on. So they came back and was like, "Hey, we want you to do this. We think you'd be great." And they wanted me to do a Lizzo slash Big Frida type album for reality TV shows, things like that. And I got my mind together, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this." So that's how it started. Like I was in a band before that had syncs, but as far as doing it solely with myself and not with the band, that's how it happened. So my first tip, I guess, is to communicate, connect, meet people, because the person that recommended me, I had no idea that that was in fruition, that was gonna happen. Like it wasn't. I was just it was just a connection that worked out, and so stay connected. And then secondly, just always be writing, always like just keep yourself sharp, keep performing. If you perform live, I notice a lot of people that do sing don't necessarily perform live, so that doesn't necessarily go hand in hand. But if you're writing, the more songs you have, the more it's just like real estate in music.
Mhm.
You know, you can give that to sync, you could sell it to another artist, you could use it for yourself. So there's a lot of things you can do. So as long as you're writing and making new material, collaborating with people, that sets you up for people to one find you if they do want to see you, if they do want to use you for a sync project. The more you're out there, putting yourself out there, the more likely you are to connect with the right person to put you on the right thing, and la di da di da. I had a friend say, "How does it feel to make money doing music?" And while that may be true, it's still, I'm not rich or close to that at all. You know, like
Right, right.
we getting there. We going. We, you
Mhm.
know, manifestations is up and
Mhm.
the
Um,
millions are coming. But yeah, it's just not there, and it takes time. And I think that's something what people don't understand about sync too. Is like, yeah, I got this show, I got this show, blah blah blah. But I may not see that check for a year or
mm,
more. It
right.
depends on what the deal is. You know who it's with. You know, it takes a while, and then even with royalties take years
Mm,
before you really start being able to live off of them. At least that's been my experience. And I think it was different before, but with streaming and the music industry, the way it's changed, and it is a long haul game. Uh, no matter which way you go with it, whether you're doing sync, whether you playing live, unless you already got, you know, some money somewhere,
mm,
you
mhm.
know. And even then, I think it's still hard. So if you just coming up out of the dirt,
Yeah.
just get ready.
Yeah, no, I always say like I feel like there's a lot of people who come to LA and they think like, okay, I'm gonna drop this song on Spotify. It's gonna be fire. Everybody's gonna love it, and I'm gonna blow up. And like that's I feel like what everybody thinks is just gonna happen. And that's great if that happens for you, but chances are that's not the way it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So you definitely hit on something that I feel like is important for anybody trying to pursue music is that you need to like know in your head ahead of time, like I'm in this for the long haul. Cause if you're not, then it's like you might as well not even like you might as well not even waste your time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, you gotta, especially depending on, I think race plays a role. I think where you, like, if you're poor, like I said, if you ain't got no money versus somebody that's rich, your persona is like all these things come together, and you have to know where you fit in this. I don't want to say box, but the industry wants to put you in the box. I think that's also, it's hard, like, for that's a hard thing for me because, like, oh, you're R&B, but I'm like, you know, no. I mean, I can do that, and I love R&B. I ain't got no problems. I love R&B. I listen to R&B. I write R&B. I love it. But I also love rock. I also love alternative. I also love weird, just weird shit. You know. I
Mhm.
also like Yo Yo Ma. It's like,
Right.
but because of what I look like, it's like R&B, yay. You know, it's like, okay, you know, so you have to, and then there's whatever, you know, I know my experience, you know, others people have they stereotypes or whatever they have to deal with. So also realizing that, because you want to come here thinking, oh, I can, you know, be whatever, do whatever. And it's like, especially as a creative. But when you start getting into, you know, the politics of things, you gotta understand that that can be mentally draining too. And then knowing how to navigate that type of thing.
Sure. I think that's part of the reason I honestly, put myself in spaces where I may not, where people that look like me don't normally hang out, because just to kind of push, some of those stereotypes and, like push some of those boundaries. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and with my music too, I push, with a little like, some country, maybe you might get some country flavor, and I've, worked with, some country artists that, on some of my songs. So like, I think that's part of the reason that, I do that, to kind of
Yeah.
push some of those uh expectations of what other people, have on me or might put on me, you know.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think it's important to do that. You know, if that's, like, I can like other things and do other things too. And not
mhm, mhm,
only like because, yeah, I want to show you, at least for me, it's like I grew up in the South. I like country music too. Like that. I like blues. I like gospel. I mean blues, gospel, they really country. They all really go together, but they have these images depending on what word you use. And it's like really all this. We know where all this stuff come from, so I ain't got to go there. But um,
You are definitely in the upper echelon of performers in LA of people I've seen, like 1000%. Is is that something that which is always like just came natural to you, or is it something that you like more so developed?
I definitely developed singing live, but I started at a very young age. It has to come from a real place. It has to come from your story. It has to come, yeah, it has to come from your experience in life. And I think when you write or even if you're not writing the song, even when you're doing a cover, when you do a cover of a song, like do it with your own flavor. Your like how does this song make you feel? Why are you doing this cover? If you're just doing it because it's popular, which I know people do that, but especially when you're performing live, it's like if you want to move people, if we're talking about moving people, it has to be more than just because it's popular. It's popular and I relate to this story as well. Like I feel like when you put those together, that's when you can get a real emotive performance. And I think the way you find that is just through practicing, one, just watching people that you like. Like growing up, I always watched Whitney Houston. I watched her a lot and Michael Jackson a lot. Like crazy, obsessive, like in Christina Aguilera. Like those are the people I was like that made me feel. And I was like, also growing up in the church, I think that's a big part of it. It's because when you are giving your all to this entity, not for money, not for fame, just because you're honoring God. It's very selfless. It's genuine.
Yeah.
It's just about giving to God, to the universe. And I think there's a lot of healing in that, no matter what you believe. When you're coming from a place like that where I'm doing this to express, I'm doing this to tell a story, I'm doing this because I think this could help somebody else. When you come from that space, I think you can't help but feel something from that artist. Glad to be here. Follow me on Instagram at BodaciousThang. If you ain't following Broadway B, you know what it is. And yeah, I'm just grateful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. All right, have a good one.
You too.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Broadway, the host. If you got something out of the episode, definitely go ahead and hit the like button. Also subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can get notified whenever we drop new episodes. If there was something specific that you learned or found interesting, put that in the comments. Also, if there was something that you thought you were going to learn more about, wanted to hear more about, and you didn't, put that in the comments as well. We can use that to make these episodes better going forward. Thank you again for checking out. They're good at that shit.